Pi. Today we're looking at snake. Snake is a path-finding logic puzzle played on a square grid, and the objective of the puzzle is to connect the snake's head with its tail. To do so, we fill in squares on the grid. The numbers on the outside tell us how many squares are filled in each row and column. We can move vertically and horizontally, and the body of the snake, as we fill it in, must never touch itself. So if we were to come up here, across here, we could not come back here because we would be touching this cell. So the rules are very simple. The puzzle quickly gets quite complicated. This is a level 2 puzzle. It's fairly simple. We've got all of the clue numbers are provided. In harder level puzzles, you'll find that some of the clue numbers are missing just to shake things up a bit and make it a bit more difficult. But this is a fairly simple puzzle to solve, and it will give you a good overview of some of the techniques that we can use to solve a snake puzzle. Now, the first thing to notice in a puzzle like this is where we've got rows or columns that are labelled with a 1. If we had a 0, that would be really easy. We could eliminate them completely. And if we had this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 7 puzzle. So if any of these showed a 7, then we know we could fill in the whole row or column. But we're not lucky with this puzzle. So the next best thing is to look for extremes. And the extremes that are the most interesting, as I say, are the rows and columns with a 1. And that's because a 1 can basically be thought of as a blocker. It's a one-way street. This is a 1 column, which means that as we cross this column, we will have used up our one and only cell. So if a snake body crosses this column, it cannot in any way come back again because we will be violating that 1. And the same with the rows. So these ones that I say can be considered as kind of one-way street blockers. So the first thing I'm going to do is just highlight these rows, and I'm also going to highlight the 1 column because I know that once I come across it, there's no going back. Although the objective is to connect the head with the tail, there's nothing that says that we have to start from either the head or the tail. We can start from wherever we find the puzzle to be easiest. To do that, I'm going to look at the next extreme on here, which is this 6 up here. I'm going to have to fill in 6 out of these 7 cells at the top. And to do that, one of the cells we fill in is going to have to be cell in this 1 column because there aren't 6 cells either side of it. So we're going to have to use that, which means we can fill those in now. I usually use circles to mark the snake's body. And if we're filling that one in, then we're going to have to fill in on either side of it, like so. And that means that we've completed this 1 column, and to mark that as such, I'm just going to strike through that way. And we can also just put X's in the rest of this column to remind us that we cannot possibly use that column. And what does that do? Well, if we look down here at this 2, we've already got the tail in here, so we can only fill 1 more cell in this 2 row here. And as we'd need to fill at least 2 more cells if we wanted to cross here, and as we can't cross here anyway, we know that we can eliminate all of this. And if we're eliminating that, we can also eliminate all of these because we would have to come down and cross and back up, which again would be in violation of these 1s. So we can eliminate all of these cells. As usual with puzzles like this, it's not necessary to draw in the crosses to eliminate cells, especially on relatively simple puzzles like this, but it's a good habit to get into just because it makes it easier when you get into bigger puzzles to see where you can and cannot go. There's another cell we can eliminate. If we look at the head up here, this is a 2 column, and in fact we've got the head and we've already filled in part of the body, so that column is complete and we can eliminate these 2 cells. And that means that the only place we can go now is across here. And we draw in the body, and while we're on this row, it's a 5. We know that we're going to have to complete these numbers somewhere in this section of the grid, and we know that we're going to end up crossing over here, and we're going to have to come back down to reach the tail. So we're going to use at least one of these 2 cells here, but that's not enough to reach our 5, so we're going to have to come across at least 1 more cell this way. Then logically, we're going to have to come across all the way to the end. And this column with a 3, we're going to have to fill 3 cells here. The easiest way to do that is to come up here, which means that this column is complete. One goes there. If we return to our 6 here, we know we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So clearly we're going to need to fill these two to join up this row, which completes 6. We've got 2 here, so we can strike that off. And we've also got 2 here, so we can strike that off. Then we're obliged to continue our slate body down here, because we've already completed this row. We can't go there, so we continue down here, which means we now have 2 cells filled here, which means we can strike this off. And for the same reason, we can't go across here, because we've already completed this row, so we have to continue this way. Now we're nearly done. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've completed this section of the grid. This is a 5. We've got 3 here, 4. So we're going to have to fill this cell here, which completes this column. This is a 2. We've got 1 here, so we're obliged to come across here, which completes this row. That's completed as well. And now it's very easy to see that we're going to fill all of these by coming down here, like so. Which means we filled out that one, completed this one, and we've got 2 here, and we've connected the snake to the tail. And just for completeness, 1, 2, 3, 4, which completes that 4. So that's it. That puzzle is solved. As I say, it's a pretty simple level puzzle. The snake does not touch itself, including diagonally, apart from in turns. Obviously, it has to touch itself in a corner. There's no way around that. But we're not touching any other part of the body. And we respected all of the numbers. So that's how you go about solving a fairly simple snake puzzle.
Hi, I'm Dora. Don't forget, you can get our Puzzle Weekly magazine delivered to you every Monday, completely free. Visit the link to get your copy.